ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to the third segment of the virtual workshop on how to promote Indonesian products through social media. We have our speaker now, Mr. Tristan Tarpley. Tristan is, according to Tristan, marketing has become more complex than the IRS tax code, and marketing tech has left startup and small businesses behind. Think of Market as an Iron Man suit for your marketing, is a marketing robo advisor that gives insight into what happened, recommendation into what to do right now, and prediction into the next steps and opportunities for your digital ad spend. The topic that Tristan would like to share is how to make effective digital advertising in marketing products. Welcome, Tristan.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here, and thanks to the other presenters and to the Indonesian Consulate for hosting us. This is a great event, and I'm a huge believer in maintaining the connection even through this very odd, very unprecedented time right now when I haven't left my house except for groceries in 2 weeks. So glad to connect with everybody, and very, very happy and honored to be here. As she mentioned, I'm the founder of Marketer. Like you can think of it kind of as an Iron Man suit for your marketing. We're built on the idea that you should be able to focus exclusively on your customers, on what you're saying to them, how they receive it, what motivates your customers, and crafting messages in a way that connects with them. You shouldn't have to be bogged down in all of the logistics of button pushing and going in and pressing the buttons and changing bids and setting up all these ads and so on and so forth. Technology can handle that way better than humans can, and way more effectively and cost effectively. And so our job is to build technology that does that using artificial intelligence and machine learning. So like I mentioned before, happy to be here. Time limits. I'm sharing my screen right now. Okay. So Abigail, can you give me a thumbs up if you see my screen right now? Okay, cool, thanks. So she just started to talk actually on a core tenet of my presentation that at the end of the day, we're still talking to people on the other side of the computer or on the phone or the Google search or the social network is a human with a problem that they're trying to be solved for them. And so the first tenet to remember in any advertising is that your audience does not want to be advertised to. A lot of people now know how creepy a lot of digital marketing is, and it can be very invasive and it can be very intrusive. And so it's important to remember that, but at the same time, like I mentioned, they're still looking for a solution. And so you might be thinking like, well, I thought this was about ads, and I'm telling you not, to be advertising, right? Well, it's about ads, I promise, but it's about how we do it as humans. And, they don't want to be advertised to, but they want to be spoken to, and they want to have a relationship built with them. And advertising is just about how you do this at scale. It's about how you build relationships with your audience, much more frequently in a repetitive, scalable way than you going door to door knocking, right? It's just a scaled up version of door knocking. And so you don't want to be like this, right? You don't want them to be looking for a solution and you're hesitant to not tell them about it. You'd be doing them a disservice if you didn't tell them about your solution, if it can really help them. And so we're not going to talk about Facebook and Google and Instagram just yet. We'll get to that. First, I want to go from sort of a high level. The process that you should follow before you run any advertising campaigns, before you spend any dollars, is to really nail down why they will actually buy from you specifically. And the kind of how you do this is you talk to them, right? You talk to them and listen to them. Do they buy just because they're your friend? Which is cool, but it's not very scalable. Do they buy because they just think your product is cool, or they're bored? Probably a lot of that right now. I believe that there are 7 reasons that people buy. Ultimately, it's for safety. They're trying to build shelter. They're trying to protect them and their families. This is security systems. This is hand sanitizer right now. Adventure. They're trying to create new experiences, experience new parts of life. Build relationships, improve their health and wellness, achieve success or sense of purpose. A lot of, ironically, a lot of fashion brands and a lot of apparel or textiles falls into this category. Or is it growth and education? And really, many brands can fall into the growth and education category, even if you're not directly educators. So once you can figure that out, and again, you should be talking to your customers, you should be talking to people who you want to be your customers. And then, after you get your campaign started, which I'll talk about that in a second, the next step is about social listening. So all advertising does is it amplifies a message. It gets a message in front of eyes that would not otherwise be seeing it. And the beauty of advertising nowadays is it's a two-way street. They can talk back to you. We're not just shouting at them from the rooftops. They can talk back to us and we can listen. And so you want to read the comments every day, be listening to what they're saying, and connect that back to the human side of it. Why are they saying this? What does this mean about my business and how I'm positioning it in the market? You want to look at the queries. If you're running Google search ads, you can see exactly what queries you're showing up for. So if somebody searches dentist near me, or if they search how do I fix the crown of my tooth, and you're a dentist, and you can see that somebody's trying to figure out how to fix a crown in their tooth, and you can be there ready to solve that problem for them. You can know exactly what they're looking for, and then be right there when they're ready to solve the problem. And then every week you should be reading Reddit, right? Like this is a little off topic, but if you just go on a Reddit and you type in your competitors, or you type in what you do, if I go and I type marketing technology, you will get hundreds and to maybe thousands of forums of people looking at these topics and trying to solve a problem and asking other people. And you can learn an immense amount about your market and about your topics and what you're selling just by reading this. And the screenshot is a snippet from Marketer, my app, where we actually aggregate this and filter out the relevant ones for you. You don't have to use it. You can go straight to Reddit, but obviously I think that's a pretty good feature. So what is this? And then you always want to connect this back to, what does this tell us about the human behavior? What does this tell us about the human experience? They're not just looking, they're not just searching. There's something deep to what makes them a human that they're trying to solve right now, and they're trying to connect with. And how do you as a brand fill that need for them? So this is where we talk about the actual platforms. And my lesson for that is, don't spend too much time learning the platforms. Be focusing on the human on the other side. And social media is just a big cocktail party where everybody can show up and you can talk to anybody, and it's a big open forum. And so what you do instead, so there's 7,000 platforms out there and tools and apps to help you with the mechanics and the low level kind of button pushing, I like to call it, of these advertising platforms. So use them. There's 7,000 of them. Marketer is one of them. We see ourselves as an aggregator for all of the ones. So we're not trying to replace other platforms, but we help aggregate them and help you make sense of them. We want to be the best friend for the marketer. And you can also use Ad Espresso for your Facebook ads if you want to get more into the weeds. And then HubSpot as well. You can look those up on their own time, but great tools that can really prevent you from spending all your week just trying to figure out how to press a button, and you can spend more time focusing on the human aspects of it. So in summary, focus on the human on the other side of the ad. Every query that they type into Google, every scroll that they're, every swipe of the finger on Facebook, they have issues that they want to issues, or they don't, whether they're looking for it or they're not. Facebook, you have to find them. And so why do they buy? What motivates them? And then keep talking and listening to those humans. Once you start spending money on advertising campaigns, the work is not done. You need to be talking to your customers, talking to people who didn't buy from you, more importantly. And then leverage the tools to make you more efficient so you can continue to focus on the human. If you can spend a few $100 a month to save yourself hours every week on unproductive aspects that technology can do way better than you, do that. And so you can continue to focus on the human aspect. So again, I thank you so much for taking the time to listen, and apologies for the technical difficulties at the beginning. But if you want to stay connected, go to trymarketer.com or find me on LinkedIn or Twitter or wherever you please. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Tristan, for your presentation. Now, ladies and gentlemen,